gives you what your heart desires. The new Desire from Maruti Suzuki, the heart car.
He made his debut as a substitute to an injured Anil Kumble.
Fast, got the breakthrough.
But he was still just a substitute. He took up the challenge. He got 7 wickets in that game. Today, critics compare him to Shane Warne. He is Amit Mishra, and he plays for the Delhi Daredevils. Because real winners love real challenges. Royal Challenge Rockin' Music CDs. Game for life.
I think it's time now for us to start the rapid fire round. The first one, you need money to start your business. Friends have abandoned you. Investors are not yet ready to invest in your idea in a volatile market like this. So what will you do? Option 1, raise personal funds by selling your wife's jewelry or mortgaging your house. Or find a job and keep your business on hold until things start looking up. That was option 2. And option 3, give up on the idea because no investor is really interested in it or thinks it's viable.
I'm already on option 1.
You've already sold. Sold some part of the...
Not sold. I'm ready for it.
All right, you're ready for it.
Yeah.
Question 2. What if private equity investors in your company want to bring in a CEO after 6 months? Would you agree if it's in the best interest of the company, or would you resist saying that this business is your baby, it's your idea, and therefore you're the best man to run it?
I think option 2 will be more, I'll be more into option 2 because I want to run this company and I have certain ideas, etc. So, of course, it will depend on why they are saying and what is the issue, etc.
But instinctively you believe
Instinctively, I believe that
you're the best man to run this business. All right. Question 3. According to your agreement with the venture capitalist or the investor will pump in money in 2 tranches. The first round is over. They've given you the money. The second round comes to you only if you meet required targets. But given the current environment economically, you are nowhere close to that target, which means that the investor is now threatening to pull out of your business. What will you do? Option 1, bring down the valuations and convince the same investor to put in money in the second round at a lower price. Approach another investor so as to maintain your price. Subject to investors' right, that is the first investor's right, ask a new investor to buy out your old investor so that you can keep valuations at a certain predetermined level, or to sell the company and get rid of this problem altogether.
Do you have any other option?
No, there are just 4 options, and I think they pretty much cover every scenario. So,
why I was asking that is this particular business typically becomes self-funded in about a year and a half.
So imagine this is the second installment that's to come to you after 6 months. You get 1 crore now, you're going to get another 1 crore 6 months down the line, but that another 1 crore is not going to come to you because you haven't met the targets. What would you do? I've given you 4 options.
I think option 3 is what I will look at.
So you would go looking for a new investor to buy out.
Probably a new investor to
buy out the existing. All right, fine. Your next question. If you had a choice, who would you pick? A professional with experience and wisdom to drive your business, or your brother-in-law who is bright but lacks experience to command that position?
A.
Not brother-in-law, is it?
Not really. Between the choices, not the brother-in-law, of course.
Not the brother-in-law. Okay. Last question. You have a great idea. 10 investors are chasing you. Would you take money from the investor who offers you the money first? Or would you buy time, even risk that offer of money, the first offer of money, and go shopping for a better price?
I would actually look for people who are more convinced on the business idea more than, ready to give the money. If he is going to give the money not convinced on the business, I would not really take it.
He wouldn't give you money if he was not convinced about the business idea.
Everybody who's giving you money is convinced you're
convinced on the business, yeah.
So what would you go for?
Obviously option 1, because you want to immediately start and then run the business.
Obviously option 1. All right. The camera's on you, Sanjay. It's time for you to deliver the verdict.
I think the concept is very, very viable, interesting, and keeping up with the times. I think Ramesh is very optimistic. Life generally does not go so positively. The bicycles will be stolen. Somebody will run into an accident, and a good entrepreneur must plan for that. And I assume that you will. But definitely, you gotta put in a reasonable factor, especially in the beginning, because in the beginning there's always a novelty value, and that'll happen. I think you're underestimating the regulatory risk. You want to transport people from their homes to the railway station. Any place near railway station is a very high piece of highly priced real estate. To put a station there of any sort I'm sure there will be at least 10 authorities that will be interested as to what are you doing there, right? A venture capitalist stay away from such things because it is very difficult to quantify. How long will it take? What it would cost? What kind of permissions you will get? So I think it will be beneficial for you to get a no objections certificate for you to interest a venture capitalist, because it's a very open-ended risk, very difficult to do that. Team members. I saw your team members, and with due respect, most of them are advisors. I think you need some execution people right next to you, right? And a number of competencies that you identified. You need somebody to manage the market, the consumer side of it, the regulatory side of it, and operational side of it. I personally feel that you are focusing too much on the operational side of it, right? Which is understandable in the beginning because you're so convinced with the consumer aspect that people will actually line up outside your door to actually buy this service, which is another point of my difference of opinion. That is very rarely it happens, right? So you, rather than targeting a broad consumer segment, you must pick something. Like you mentioned, courier. So I'll pick a particular segment which I can actually target one-on-one across the table. I can sell them a deal, and maybe a wholesale deal of 50 cycles to begin with, or 50 memberships to begin with, which gets the concept going. To target a broad consumer right from day one is a very hard thing to do, and I think you mentioned part of it. All I would say is that before you enter into a serious investor discussion, you must have certain customers under your belt, and you are better off securing these type of what I would call enterprise customers, where you make a sales call and you get 20, 25, 30 memberships in one shot. So I would say that while the concept is viable, you need to demonstrate, or at least prove to some extent. I'm not expecting a fully fledged business, but to prove that these things can be managed. I think that's the time when you will see investors interested in equity participation.
I am not planning to park it on the road, on the footpaths. I'm planning to hire a shop and have it parked there.
Can your business plan then tolerate the real estate cost of such a thing?
That is why I need 2 crore, otherwise I don't need 2 crore.
But don't you need money to buy the cycles? Don't you need
It's
money?
not much. It's not. It's just about 25-50 lakhs for this, 50 lakhs for the 1700 cycles. Secondly, again, theft. Theft can happen when somebody parks the cycle somewhere, go to a shop and come back, it can be stolen. But possibility, I think, is much lesser. People, yes, I have identified certain people for all these activities. I am yet not taken on the board because I am not sure how big I am going to launch it yet, and because once the funding is confirmed, I have already sounded them and they are ready to join me then. I am one guy who has knocked off my job and jumped into this. Not everybody is so keen as yet to jump in.
I have a yes or no question for you, Sanjay.
Yes.
Would you call him back if you were the venture capitalist that he was facing? Would you call him back for a second discussion? Or would you at this point in time say, no, I think it will take you many more months before you are able to fill in all the gaps in information. Maybe we'll talk next year.
I think I'll give him 6 months, honestly.
6 months?
Yes. I think he will need to track himself, or we will track him for 6 months to see how is he doing. And then there'll be a good time for a discussion after that.
All right, Sanjay, thanks very much. And Ramesh, you have 6 months to iron out the chinks. Hopefully after 6 months you will get funding. I can't promise you that, but I can promise you this. This comes from one of our associates, Dell. It is meant to encourage you. We hope that it's a starting point for your business, and all those very complicated logistics plans are drawn up on this very laptop.
Thank you very much, and I love this gift because it will help me in my business in any case.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Pleasure meeting you. Now I understood what a VC thinks and what is his perspective. So I will take that into account, and next time when I am pitching in, I'll include those.
So what did you really think of his idea?
He's expecting these 2 crores to go a long distance in my view. I think he has to really cut back on what is he going to target with that initial 2 crore capital.
So how do you think he should do it? Should he cut back on his rollout plan to fit 2 crores, or should he increase the funding that he requires to fit the rollout plan that he intends to do?
No, I would cut the rollout plan.
You'd cut the rollout
I would cut the rollout plan by focusing on maybe 3 or 4 or 5 stations.
If not VC, frankly, I am keen. I'm very keenly looking at some bank loan options, and I'm in touch with certain banks, and they have shown pretty lot of interest as well.
EnterpriseInc, brought to you by Dell, the choice of SMBs.
67 करोड़ वोटर्स, हजारों उम्मीदवार, सैकड़ों मुद्दे, दर्जनों पार्टियां, जनता का मन भांपना बेहद मुश्किल। चाहिए लंबा अनुभव और जबरदस्त टीम ताकि